Hi, how are you? This is Daniel Rosendi, and today we're going to have an international look on the 3 reforms that would make any country rich. And this is the photo of the day, just to transmit some authority. It's me when I was 15, pretending to surf on my friend's back. Yeah, let's go and start. So getting rich is easy. You just do what every rich country has done, and you're going to get rich. Let me show you. The first thing that nearly every rich country has is subsidiarity. Subsidiarity works by focusing on local governments, decentralized decision and competition, with decisions always made at the lowest level possible. The EU has it literally ingrained in its founding. I put Article 5 here. And countries like the US, Australia, Canada, and Switzerland also value it highly. It's very explicit in the US Constitution and in the Swiss Constitution especially. Switzerland, for example, it's a very small country that's actually divided into 20-something cantons that have most of the administrative and political power in the Union. So you can clearly see that subsidiarity goes across most of the developed world. Decentralization is really the key to good governance. If you get countries with very high human development or HDI, nearly all of them are very small countries. And obviously, small countries, they're by definition decentralized because, well, they're small, so the government is closer to the people. It's closer to, it's a smaller ratio from how many politicians you have and what the population is. So the few rich unitary states that are really small, so Sweden, New Zealand, and Ireland. Big rich countries are all federal, like the US, Canada, and Australia. The wealthiest countries in the world are normally small and decentralized, like Switzerland, especially Denmark and the Netherlands. And in fact, one of Europe's superpowers is its respect for regional differences. So subsidiarity really is a superpower. Most countries, and I'm going to say nearly all countries that are developed, have it to one degree or another. Like I said, Sweden, New Zealand, and Ireland, they are exceptions. They're really centralized. But again, they're small countries in and of themselves. So they are already decentralized, even at a federal level. Second thing you need to do to become developed and to have a shot getting rich is tax reform. So as the Laffer curve suggests, this is the Laffer curve, by the way, higher rates don't always mean higher revenue. Also, tax simplification can be as efficient as tax cuts. Exemptions, credits, and special interests are abused and create distortions and excessive complications. Furthermore, some forms of tax are better than others. So the point here is, first of all, you can lower taxes without lowering revenue. Second, even if you do lower revenue, it might still be worth it. And third, if you simplify the taxes, even without changing any of the rates, just by simplifying it, it could be a very, very good thing. It could actually make your economy grow, even though you're collecting the same amount in taxes. And obviously, different types of taxes, they affect economies differently. So this is a graph that shows how negatively different types of taxes affect countries' economies. So not all taxes are created equally. All right. Following up on tax reform, some of the most this is just countries with very simple tax systems. Countries like Malaysia, Georgia, Estonia, they have managed to grow incredibly quick due to tax-friendly reforms. And other countries like Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, and Switzerland, they have very favorable tax policies for a long time. Now, you might think Australia, for example, New Zealand, for example, oh, they're high-tax countries. They actually are not, especially if you compare it to other OECD countries. And more than that, they have simple tax systems. The US, for example, has a very complex tax system. Even Switzerland has a bit of a complex tax system, but it has, well, favorable tax. But having a simple tax system is as important as having low tax, and maybe even more important for that matter. There's also good taxes and bad taxes. Well, there's less bad taxes at least. I found this on the Tax Foundation website. I think it's very, very interesting. You can tax what you want, you can tax what you buy, and you can tax what you won't. And there's very harmful ways to tax what you want, and there's less harmful ways to tax what you earn. The same with what you buy and the same with what you own. So ideally, you move more into income and payroll taxes, you move more into sale taxes, and you move more into land taxes. There's actually quite a movement online that says that land value taxes are the best type of taxes that there are, because they're really, really hard to escape. So when choosing how to tax, it's key to analyze how each tax creates distortions, loopholes, disincentives, and how easy they are to avoid. So for example, corporate income tax, wealth tax, and high progressive income tax, they're normally inefficiently costly and somewhat easy to avoid, especially corporate income tax, but wealth tax as well. Broad taxes like VAT, which is a value-added tax, property tax, and payroll taxes, which are taken directly out of someone's paycheck, they distort less the economy, and they're harder to avoid than other types of taxes. So for that reason, a system that moves towards them and away from the less efficient types of tax tend to have better results, even if tax revenues don't change. Let's keep going. Pension reform. That's the third ingredient for a successful society. Pension is the single biggest expenditure of nearly every OECD government. So put it here, pension spending in the OECD, the average is 7.7% of GDP, which is huge. That's probably like 20% of the total government spending. The EU average is 10.4%, which is scary. And in Greece and Italy, it gets as high as 16%. So it is terrible. With low fertility rates and an aging population, pensions have become most governments' primary spending program, and it only gets worse from here. Because and the problem with that is, like, it's important to have as in old age, it's important to have pensions, obviously, but they're not economically productive. All you're doing is just giving someone a salary, and that's it. And if you're taxing really, really high rates, and all that tax does is pay for retirement, that is not a very efficient way to have a functioning and sound government. I just want to put it out there. So a pay-as-you-earn system, which is what most people have, is a literal pyramid scheme. The pay system present in most countries is outdated and flawed. It constitutes a literal pyramid scheme that depends on population growth and government accountability, and neither of those guaranteed. Population growth is definitely not guaranteed. Government accountability is very, very seldom guaranteed. This means we need to move to at least a partially funded model, which is, well, some people have talked about the OECD, the World Bank. They recommend a three-tier system where there's a national pension, which is a pay-as-you-earn system, retirement pension, which is tied to your employment, and a personal annuity, which is, well, you put money aside for your employment. Again, I would move as far away as possible from the first pillar and really focus on the second pillar, which is by far the best. Because especially if you only have the first pillar, which is people pay into it, and in the future someone else has to pay into it so that you get what you paid into it 30, 40 years ago. That's literally a pyramid scheme. It just goes for longer. So again, if you compare a self-funded system, which is the second pillar, to pay-as-you-earn system, which is pretty much the first pillar, the self-funded system, it's your actual money in your name. There's no reliance on future contributions because you contributed, and those contributions are in your name, in your account, and that is the money that you're going to use. You have higher investment returns because, well, you can invest it in stocks, you can invest it in bonds, which means that less total contributions are needed, or you get more money with the same amount of contributions. It is a part of your net worth, which means it can be inherited, it can be used in emergency, it can be used to buy a house, and it capitalizes the markets in general, which increases overall liquidity. It increases investment, increases employment. It is great. And the role model for a self-funded system is Australia. Employers, as of July 2025, they pay 12% of a employee's gross salary into a superannuation fund in the employee's name, and the employee can choose how to invest it. They can use it to buy a house. They can withdraw it in certain situations for emergency. If they leave the country permanently and they're not from there, they can get that money back. And it's by far the most efficient retirement system that we have. Australia literally solved retirement. It just solved retirement, and it's 100% possible for other countries to do the same. And then, of course, subsidiarity, tax reform, and pension reform. You implement those reforms, and then you wait 30 years because it's slow. Getting rich takes time, and you could be a country that's making all the wrong decisions for 30 years, like Italy, for example, and still be reasonably rich because of decisions you made 50 or 100 years ago. And that's how it is, you know. Whereas like Poland, which has been making great decisions for the last 30 years, is still poorer than Italy because, well, it had made such bad decisions in the past, and it had suffered through a lot in the 20th century, let's call it that. So you make those reforms, you wait, and you're gonna get rich. So wrapping up, though natural resources, location, and history play a role in determining wealth, I'm not denying that, there are practical, applicable steps that nearly every successful country in the world has at least somewhat followed. With good leadership and a long-term mindset, following reforms that allow for local governance, simplify the tax system, and move to a self-funded pension system is the easiest way towards development for any country. It's the easiest way towards development for any country. What reforms would you make? Let me know in the comments below.